Welcome and Happy New Year. Let's talk 2025. I'm seeing a lot of people do their 2026 vision board and goals and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to share that stuff, at least in depth, until potentially 2027 to reflect on it. So this is more so reflecting on 2025 and what I want to do differently. We're going to go through this. I wrote down my goals at the beginning of last year because now it is 2026, and we're going to go through them. We're going to go through what books I've read and whatever else I might. I did both goals and ins and outs, so we can go through both of those. But I've got my goals here. I color coded them with red, purple and green. Red is stuff that I didn't do. Purple is stuff that I did technically do, but I didn't do enough, or at least I don't think I did enough of. And green stuff that I did do. Number one was move in with my partner, which I did do. Drink more water. I definitely did do that. I kind of can't go a day without having a full bottle of water now. So attend multiple in-person classes. Now this was a goal because in 2024 I avoided going to in-person classes. To be fair, getting there was actually it was a nightmare. It was not sustainable for me to get there the way that I would, and it wasn't safe. But I did go to more in-person classes in 2025, mainly because most of my classes had a mandatory in-person attendance requirement. So I had to meet that or else I wouldn't pass that course. I've got make some friends. Here's my thing. I definitely went outside my comfort zone and spoke to people at uni, and they became friendly acquaintances. So I marked this down as I did do, because I now have uni friends at uni. None of them ever went outside of uni. So I don't know if I should have marked that as yes, but I did. Read 20 books. I did do that. I read 31. One of them was a skim read because I've read it like 5 times and I know everything that's happening. A handful of them were novellas and a few of them were rereads. So I've got start exercising. I did do that. It wasn't consistent, but I have exercised more in 2025 than I did in 2024 or 2023. I have get my license. I did do that. I am now officially a P-plater. I got my license on the 22nd of December, which I know is kind of close, but I've got get out of the house more often. I marked this as yes, but I'm very easy with it. Like if I go to uni, I'm technically out of the house, or if I go to the shops, I'm technically out of the house. Like I'm not necessarily out with nature, but I'm out of the house. Focus on self-care. I did this to an extent. So I've marked this as didn't do enough, but I definitely could have done it more, and I should have done it more. Put effort into uni. Again, I've marked this as didn't do enough. That's because for the first time since starting at uni, like at any uni, I've actually forgotten about assessments. I ended up doing them and getting them in on time and all of that, but I did forget about some of them. So put effort into my appearance. Again, I've got didn't do enough. I definitely should try more. I'm typically just in tights and a big baggy t-shirt or a big baggy jumper because I want to hide. Now this one I don't actually understand what I meant by it, but I put balanced lifestyle. So I wish I had expanded a bit on what I wanted balanced. I've got it as didn't do enough. I think some things were balanced. It really depends. I would spend more time doing things that I enjoy. Again, I put that down as didn't do enough. I definitely could have done it more, but I've got stop thinking, start doing. Again, I didn't really expand on that. I put this as didn't do enough. Same with romanticize every moment. I don't really know. Another goal that I didn't do was start utilising my wardrobe, and by that I meant use the clothes that I already have. I've got get dressed / ready daily. I got dressed most days. Well, got dressed as in got out of my pajamas and into probably tights and a big t-shirt or a big jumper. I've got big course direction. At the end of 2024, I was doing Bachelor of Psychological Science. So at the beginning of 2025, I was deciding whether or not to continue with psychological science or transfer into the Bachelor of Education Primary, which obviously I transferred. I also did post my first video, which I've been aiming to do for literal years. So take more photos / make more memories. I don't think I did this enough, and I value videos and photos so highly because I have a terrible memory. Going through my ins and outs of 2025, my ins were making friends, taking chances, making memories, music, self-discipline, self-care / love, exercise, and not caring about what others think. I care so insanely what others think of me. So that didn't really happen. Exercise I did do, self-care I did to an extent, self-discipline, I'm like the worst at self-discipline. I am a procrastinator through and through, and I hate that about myself. But I didn't listen to as much music as I did in 2024, and I'm putting that down as in 2024 I used to use music as like background noise when I would sleep. Now I don't do that because obviously I live with my partner. Making memories, taking chances, and making friends, I guess I kind of did. Now my outs, comparing myself to others, stressing / overthinking, doom scrolling, procrastinating, burnout, reading slumps, being lazy, and people pleasing. All of that happened in 2025. That wasn't very successful, but that's okay. As for the books I read in 2025, as I said, I read a total of 31 books. A lot of them were novellas, some of them were rereads, and one of them was pretty much a skim through because I knew everything. In January, I read 2 books, When Lightning Strikes by Meg Cabot and The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. Now, all the Meg Cabot books I'm going to say were either very, very, very short books or novellas. I don't remember, but they were not long reads, especially compared to The Dixon Rule. In February, I read King of Pride by Anna Hong and A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. A Conjuring of Light is a book that I skimmed through because I have read it about 5 times. In March, I read Codename Cassandra by Meg Cabot, Flawless by Elsie Silver, Safe House by Meg Cabot, The Deal by Elle Kennedy, Sanctuary by Meg Cabot, and Missing You by Meg Cabot. April, I reread Unsteady by Peyton Corinne, and I read Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I started Out of the Gate by Elsie Silver in March, and I finished it in April. I just didn't get into it that fast, but I finished it quite fast when I did get into it. I started Collide by Belle Carbo in April and finished it in May. And I started My Dark Romeo by LJ Shen and Parker S. Huntington in May, and I finished it in June. Now, as for the end of 2025, I read Wildfire by Hannah Grace in July. I read The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy in August. September, I read Breaking Point by Mads Rafferty and started Crossroads by Daphne Perry, which I finished in October. I also finished Sunlight by Daphne Perry, Hot for Slayer by Eileen Hazelwood, Fearful by Lauren Roberts, Falling by Christine Lauren, Spicy Little Curses by JT Geisinger, I think, and started Nightshade by Autumn Woods and Space Vampire by Ruby Dixon in October. I finished both those books in November, as well as The Mistake by Elle Kennedy and Beautiful Nightmare by Kate Robert. In December, I read Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace, My Boyfriends Are All Monsters by Kimberly Lemming, and Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn. Now, as for the ones that were novellas, as I said, Meg Habit might be all novellas. Out of the Gate by Elsie Silver is a novella. Fearful by Lauren Roberts I think is technically classified as a novella as well. Crossroad and Sunlight were not big books either. Hot for Slayer, Falling, Spicy Little Curses, Space Vampire, Beautiful Nightmare, and My Boyfriends Are All Monsters are all part of the Scared Sexy collection on Amazon, and they were all novellas. And then Resting Scrooge Face is also a novella. So there's a lot of novellas. And as for my favourite book of this year, it was Nightshade by Autumn Woods. I love it and I cannot wait for Daybreak to come out. Now, to get on a serious note, 2025 wasn't the best year mentally. I watched one of the most confronting, not confronting in a bad way, but confronting in like I've reflected on myself a lot. And it's confronting as in like it's scary to realise certain things about yourself. But I watched Hannah Elise's video on her going to an inpatient mental health rehab facility and her reflecting on her mental health and all of that. And it made me reflect a lot on my own behaviour and my own mental health and all of that. And I wrote literally 3 pages, well you can't see that, 3 pages worth of stuff, of thoughts, and I'm going to share what I wrote. And I wrote this on Sunday the 16th of November, so pretty much at the end of the year. I just finished watching Hannah Elise's new video, and I think it's made me realise a few things about myself. 1, I have been self-sabotaging a lot, but specifically with driving. I would make any excuse to get out of driving or convince myself that I felt sick or something was going to go wrong, or because the anxiety that I felt when just thinking about getting behind the wheel was insane, even though I'm typically fine when driving. Because of this, Tuesday the 18th of November, driving test day, may be compromised as I don't feel as I've practiced enough. The 18th of November was the first time I attempted my PEAS test, my driving test, and I did fail. And it wasn't because I didn't practice enough. It was stupid reasons, and I understand why, but I did fail that day. And then I passed on my second attempt. Number 2, I have so many thoughts in my head. Some tell me what I want to do, and I want to do a lot. Some tell me what I can or can't do. Some contradict or challenge each other. Some are positive, but a lot are negative. Anyway, my point is that my head is so overcrowded with thoughts that it makes it almost impossible to do anything or know what I want for myself and in life. I feel so stuck and unable to make any kind of decision or plan because my brain is already so fatigued from all the occupying thoughts, which then leads me to feel lazy and incompetent. Number 3, I am such a people pleaser. I never wish to burden or inconvenience or upset anybody, but I've been pushing aside anything I want or need to avoid those scenarios. And now, because I have done that, I no longer can tell the difference between what I want or what someone else wants for me. Number 4, I have so many fears that they all just bubble into one. I have a fear of being judged. I have a fear of being perceived. I have a fear of being wrong or messing up. I have a fear of upsetting people. I have a fear of letting myself down and being nothing to myself or others. I have a fear of being forgotten or left behind. And someone, you get the gist. Number 5, I am so crippled with indecision due to all my other points that I do nothing. My days are all a blur of just sitting on the couch or in bed just scrolling on my phone or watching, well, not really watching because I'm barely paying attention, random YouTube videos. I sit there and overthink everything that I could/should do, everything that's coming up, anything that's already passed, But because I'm thinking so much, I either do nothing or it takes me a very long time to do anything, which then again leads me to feeling lazy and incompetent and is taking a toll on my health, which it was, and it still is. Number 6, I feel as if I lack so much. I can't always bring myself to feel happiness or hope. Half the time I can't even tell what I am feeling. I lack any kind of discipline, which leads me to doing nothing, which then leads me to feeling like I lack any purpose within my life. I feel like I lack control over how reactive I am, or even simply over what I do or how I react. I feel like I lack goals or plans or what I want for myself or my future. I lack guidance and trust and belief, and all of this leads me to feeling trapped and stuck and uncertain and dread, I guess, because I don't want to keep feeling any of this. I fear who I will become if I keep this way of life, but I don't know how to change, and I can't bring myself to do anything at all. I don't know how long I felt like this, and I don't know how much longer I can handle it. I don't know how to approach anyone about it either, and I don't know what I am going to do. Funnily enough, right now, I'm still a ball of indecision. The only thing I do know is I can't live like this anymore. I know how the end of that sounds, but that is not what I want, and that's not what's going to happen. I am sharing this because I'm holding myself accountable. I don't want to feel like this in 2026. I'm not going with the saying of New Year, New Me. I'm going into 2026 with the saying, New Year, Improving Me. Because that is my intention for this year. To improve on what I am, who I am, how I behave, all of it. I just want to improve. And my first step to do that is by being honest with myself, with others, and to say that it is okay to feel like that, and to be honest, and to reflect and realize that things aren't working the way that you want them to. And it is okay to change.